What is going on, guys? Dino Bam Bam here with the 10-7 MMA. Happy to be back in your lives with another quick picks. This weekend, we've got UFC Fight Night Dolidze versus Hernandez, and it's a pretty good card. It'll hold us over until next week, UFC 319 in our backyard here at the United Center in Chicago. And I'm ecstatic about that one, guys. I am absolutely lit and excited. If you guys are new to the channel, do us a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. It would mean the world to us. We're almost at 2,000 subs, which we never even thought we'd get close to, but, you know, here we are. By the way, congratulations to David, the winner of our UFC 319 ticket giveaway. He will be coming with us to UFC 319, and we might have one extra ticket, guys. I'm just saying, I don't know if we're giving it away, we're selling it, or what the deal is. But we gave David two. We have me and DS. We got a couple of our friends, and there might be one more ticket available. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyways, if you guys are interested in finding out about that, follow us on Instagram at the107MMA. That's where we'll be posting anything if we do end up doing something with that ticket. So let's not waste any time, guys. I'm super ready to get to UFC 319. I've never felt more like just ready for a card to be over, more so than this one. Not that it's a bad card, but just that next week, the UFC's in town. We got a couple interviews set up. We are doing Brian Battle. We are doing Tim Elliott. There's a couple other fighters that we're, talking to and whatnot. So, hopefully that all goes smoothly. I'm just ready to get on to next week. But anyways, let's start with the first fight of the night. We've got friend of the channel, Cody Brundage, who we've interviewed here before. As you can see, if you click on the little shit underneath us here, he is taking on UFC newcomer Eric McConigle. Guys, Cody Brundage, a wrestling first brawler, explosive double legs, heavy top control, can be a little bit reckless at times, right? Cody Brundage is a guy that is willing to brawl. We saw that in the Julian Marquez fight, and sometimes he's a little too brawly, for his own good, and that has harmed him in certain situations. He's taken on Eric McConigle, a regional level striker, some good pop in his hands, wild style, kind of a low output guy, largely untested at this level, right? So that's the real big difference here. He's got big power. He's defensively susceptible. He's got holes in his defense, let's say. But I think the experience is the biggest thing here. We're going to see how ready this guy is for the UFC. He's getting a test in Cody Brundage, a guy that's been there, done that. And I'm sticking with my boy. Who would I be if I didn't do that? I'm going Cody Brundage, and I'm going ground and pound TKO round 2. I think he gets McConigle down early. I think he wears him out. I think once we get into that second round, Brundage really starts putting it on him, and we get a TKO finish to ground and pound. Moving on, we've got Gabriela Fernandez, and she is taking on Julia Stoliarenko. Guys, Gabby Fernandez, a solid all-around fighter, decent boxing, good awareness of her range. She keeps great distance when she is in the stand-up. She's not overly dangerous. She doesn't have too much power for the division. She's definitely more tactical than she is explosive, and I wish she had a little more power. She's taking on Julia Stoliarenko, pretty much a one-trick pony, right? I hate to kind of shit on her, but she's a jiu-jitsu specialist. She has like a fetish for arm bars, basically. The striking is awkward. It's stiff. It doesn't look clean. She's relentless as hell if she can get the fight to the ground. And I guess that's the only time you're really in danger with Julia Stoliarenko. For me, I have to go Gabby Fernandez. I think she wins a decision. As long as she can avoid getting taken down early, she should be able to survive and outpoint the shit out of Julia Stoliarenko. So, Gabby Fernandez, UD. Moving on, next fight of the night, according to Tapology at this point, Jocelyn Edwards versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Two my girls. Jocelyn Edwards, a kick-heavy striker. She likes to stay long. She picks her shots. She's kind of slow. She's not the biggest finisher, but she does a good job in the stand-up. It's definitely refined, way more so than earlier on in her career. Like, she looks cleaner is what I'm trying to say. The takedown defense is a little iffy, but she has looked good. She's taking on zombie girl Priscilla Cachoeira, plus 260. Very surprising here. I know she is getting on in age, but she is a wild brawler. She swings with bad intentions. She walks forward like a zombie, hence the nickname Zombie Girl. Her technical defense is basically non-existent. She is there to draw her opponent into a brawl. And it's like a 50-50 coin flip anytime Zombie Girl's involved. But you know what? I'm going with her. I think, guys, and again, I like both of these ladies. I think they're both good. I think they're both slightly underrated. I just think Cachoeira definitely has more power, and I think Cachoeira is the grittier of the two. I think Edwards is going to have some early success being the longer fighter, kind of picking at range, but Cachoeira's pressure is eventually going to get to her. She's going to close the distance and land a couple big shots that crumble Jocelyn Edwards. So I'll go Priscilla Cachoeira. body shot TKO round 2. Next fight of the night, we've got Uros Medic, and he is taking on Gilbert Urbina of Ultimate Fighter fame. Guys, Uros Medic, a sniper, right? A super goddamn dangerous fighter. Great Muay Thai base. He's really, really dangerous early in fights. He's one of those dudes that tends to blow his wad, and then his cardio gets worse and worse as we move on, and he kind of just depletes himself. The defense is very suspect. He's hittable. Don't love that for Uros Medic, but he is a very dangerous fighter. He's taking on Gilbert Urbina, a guy that comes from a family of fighters. His brother, formerly a UFC fighter. I believe he has a third brother who's also an MMA fighter. Gilbert Urbina is tall, he's long, he's lanky for the division. He is pretty hittable. He's a grappling heavy guy. His entries are kind of telegraphed, and I don't love that for him. His chin has been tested a couple times. We've seen him cracked. Don't really love it. And I think if Gilbert Urbina can land a takedown on Uros Medic and control him specifically in that first round and bleed out the clock for 5 minutes, it could be his world and maybe a great situation for a live bet. However, I'm going Uros Medic. I think he lands the knockout on Gilbert Urbina in round 1. It's as simple as that. He is a much better striker. He's much more dangerous on the feet, especially early. So that's the way I see it. Uros Medic, round 1, KO. Moving on to the next fight of the night, and we've got Elijah Smith, and he is taking on Tashiyomi Kazami. Holy moly, guys. We're about to go to China in 2 weeks. I got to get these names right. Anyways, guys, Elijah Smith, athletic, explosive, blitzes forward, great combos, massive power, still very raw and still very wild at times, and I think he's going to clean that up, obviously, hopefully, as we see him in the UFC, right? Because those are... there's a couple glaring weaknesses in his stand-up. He can be reckless, but he is very dangerous. Kazama, a solid grappler, heavy top control, not super dynamic, but very, very technically sound. A guy that struggles in scrambles and gets caught on the feet standing. So he's a guy that needs to take the fight down in order to win it. And I just don't know that he's going to be able to do that against Elijah Smith. He's a very athletic kid. He scrambles well. He's explosive. He's gritty. Minus 700 to tell you everything you need to know. I'm going Elijah Smith. I'm going round 1 KO. I think he clips Kazama early during one of the first exchanges of the fight. I'm going to say probably like 2 minutes in. I know that's bold, but give me Elijah Smith early first round knockout before the grappling even becomes a factor in this one. We move on, and we've got Julius Walker, and he is taking on Rafael Cerqueira. As I'm looking for my notes here, guys. While I'm doing that, do your boy a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. And then also follow us on Instagram at the107MMA. Shameless plug. Anyways, Julius Walker versus Rafael Cerqueira. Guys, Julius Walker, a big, explosive, light heavyweight, very goddamn athletic. I believe he comes from a basketball background, if I'm not mistaken. Very powerful striker, fast hands for the division. Defensive grappling, still a question mark. Grappling in general, a question mark for Julius Walker. Rafael Cerqueira, on the other hand, an experienced, well-rounded fighter, tough guy, good cardio, a very grinding style, great clinch work. He's one of those dudes that's not flashy at all, but he's very durable, and he gets the job done. These odds are absolutely bananas to me. When I'm breaking these fights down, I don't like to look at odds, guys. I watch some film, I go back to my notes from before, and I just like to compare and contrast, and then I kind of come up with what I think the odds should be, right? I go with my decision, who I'm picking, how I'm picking them, and then I look at the odds, and I would say 95% of the time, the odds generally are what I expect them to be. Sometimes I know I'm picking this guy to beat this guy, and I know he's going to be the underdog, and that's the case. In this one, I expected Julius Walker to be like a minus 180. I'm seeing minus 650, and that is freaking bananas. I'm going Rafael Cerqueira. And honestly, I was thinking he would win this fight regardless, and then I'm seeing plus 470, and I think it's worth the gamble. So give me Rafael Cerqueira via unanimous decision. I think Walker is going to fade early on in this fight. He's going to flurry. He's going to come out swinging, slow down, and then Cerqueira is just going to wear him down with pressure and out-grapple him. So I'm going with the plus 470 dog. Give me Rafael Cerqueira on the money line. And we move on to your boy, Eric Anders, and he is taking on CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan. Guys, Eric Anders, a southpaw brawler with some good wrestling skills. Of course, he comes from football. So he's got some grappling in him, and he is very goddamn explosive. He's strong, he's durable, he's kind of predictable, though, and he fades away when fights aren't going his way. Once he starts taking damage, he shells up, and you can just kind of see the fight. it's like a story of two fighters with him, right? Like early on, he looks great. Once he takes a little bit of damage, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. He's taking on CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan, a very flashy striker. That's all CLD really is. He's creative as hell, dangerous kicker, struggles with, grappling, and he struggles with control, and he's not very consistent. But the fact that he's unpredictable and has the power to put people away leads me to believe that he's going to do that to Eric Anders. I think we might get to that second round, and I think once we do get there, he's going to find Eric Anders' chin. Eric Anders will slow down at that point, and CLD will be able to land something devastating. So give me CLD round 2 KO. Moving on to the next fight of the night, we've got Miles Johns, and he's taking on Gene Matsumoto, one of the most underrated prospects in all of MMA. Nice to see a minus 310 tag on him here. Miles Johns, a compact wrestler boxer combo, right? Fast counters, strong punches, explodes well in short bursts, and he does a great job. The only flaw I see in Miles Johns' game is oftentimes he gets gun shy, and I don't love that for him. Especially against a guy like John Matsumoto, who is all action, right? He's young, he's clean, he's crisp, he's composed. He works behind his jab very well. Great takedowns, great jiu-jitsu game. The guy fights well beyond his years. Gene Matsumoto looks like a guy that's been in the UFC for 7 or 8 years, even though he is a young buck. So I'm going Gene Matsumoto. I'm going to say he wins a decision, maybe even a split decision. I think this is going to be a very close fight. I think the experience of Miles Johns is going to play heavily into this one. He will get a takedown. He might land a couple big shots, take a round away from the kid, and just kind of survive and put some damage on Matsumoto. I don't think this is going to be one-way traffic at all. I think it'll be very close. I just think that Gene Matsumoto edges out the decision. You know how the UFC is, right? And I don't know if they're doing it or the commission's doing it or whatever, but you have two guys. You have an old vet, and then you have a young guy, and the fight's really close. Probably want to give it to the young guy. That's kind of what I see going on here. So give me Matsumoto by decision. We move on. We've got Andre Touchy-Feely taking on C-Rod, and my question is, why couldn't you just wait 1 week for C-Rod, right? He's a Milwaukee guy, spends a lot of time in Chicago. Why is C-Rod not on the Chicago card? Why are you sending this guy to the Apex? Who knows? But anyways, Andre Feely, a creative striker with length, experience, a great kicking game, inconsistent as hell. Sometimes he beats guys that you think he has no shot at beating, and then sometimes he loses to guys that you think have no shot beating him. Andre Feely, one of those guys that was kind of thrown into the deep end of the UFC a long time ago before he was ready. While, yes, he's learned to swim, he has taken a couple bad L's, he has taken a couple of great W's. You just never know which Andre Feely you're getting, and that's unfortunate. He is facing off against Christian Rodriguez, a great grappler, a grappling heavy fighter, elite back control, nasty transitions, a great scrambler. Not a big striker, but he does suffocate fighters with his grappling. Once he latches on, you are absolutely cooked. And for that reason, I am going C-Rod by submission. I think in the second round, Feely's going to overextend. He's going to get taken down. He's going to give up his back, and we are going to get that RNC. So give me C-Rod by RNC. Next fight of the night, guys, and we're almost getting there. We're getting there. We've got Yasmin Lucindo, and she is taking on Angela Hill. Yasmin Lucindo, aggressive, heavy-handed, improving fast as hell. She's young, and she looks to be getting better every time we see her. She likes to throw bombs. She likes to keep the fight physical. She is still very raw and green in a lot of areas of her game. She is taking on the veteran Angela Hill, an absolute technician, high output, great clinch work, great cardio, great IQ. There's nothing to hate about Angela Hill except for the fact that she doesn't have much finishing ability. And, of course, she is getting on in age. We're starting to see that cardio that she had sort of slowing down, right? So I wonder if the durability's next. I do believe that Angela Hill at plus 164 is great value. So I'm picking her. I'm going Angela Hill via unanimous decision. I think she just stays a step ahead of the youngin. She vets her way to a decision victory. Now we get on to the co-main event, and this is where things get really goddamn interesting because we've got Steve Erceg taking on Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne, of course, stepping in. There was the whole Amir Albazi thing, and then Park ended up fighting Tatsuro Taira. This whole thing's been a mess. But Steve Erceg was supposed to be here. Ode Osborne was not, so Ode Osborne has taken this fight on very short notice. I want to say like 2 weeks maybe, but here he is. And we see Steve Erceg after 3 straight losses as a minus 575 favorite, and that's pretty wild. I've seen a lot of people online talking about picking Ode Osborne, and I'm wondering, why the odds are this way then. If all these people were telling the truth and they were all betting Ode Osborne, I feel like the odds would turn. But they haven't. We're still seeing Steve Erceg stay at a steady 575. Anyway, Steve Erceg, sharp, fundamental, great fight IQ, pressures well, mixes in his striking, clean setups, builds momentum round by round. This is a guy that is built to be here in the UFC. He belongs with the elite. Yes, he got knocked out by Kai Kara-France. Yes, he lost the decision to Alexandre Pantoja, which I agree with, but a lot of people think he won that fight. He went 5 rounds with Brandon Moreno. This is a guy that belongs at the top of this division, guys. I don't want anyone thinking less of Steve Erceg because of the losing streak that he had. I think this guy really does belong here. He's taken on a friend of the channel in Ode Osborne. Fast, flashy, very dangerous in the first few minutes, but Ode Osborne has a problem, and he fades later on in fights. Ode Osborne is a guy that is very hittable, especially in that second and third round, and that's where I worry for him. I think Steve Erceg, we've seen him. We've seen that power from Steve Erceg, one-shot knockouts, and I can see that happening to Ode Osborne here. We've seen Ode Osborne clipped and dropped before, and I fear that's going to happen for him again. I think Steve Erceg is going to survive a first-round storm from Ode Osborne, who's coming into this fight with nothing to lose, everything to gain, versus a guy with the name, the caliber of Steve Erceg, right? Because if Ode Osborne beats Steve Erceg, he's right there in that title picture. I know he's not next, but he might be one fight away depending on who the UFC books him with next. So I think Ode comes out really goddamn hot. I think he swings for the fences. Maybe, touches Erceg up, maybe wins that first round, but then Erceg is going to be composed. He's going to figure it out, and I think he's going to clip Ode Osborne. I'm going round 2 KO for Steve Erceg. Nice, clean combination, like a 1-2 or a 1 with a hook followed. Something disgusting with the hands is how I'm seeing this go down. So give me Steve Erceg by knockout. I am fucking rambling, guys. We are finally here at the main event of the evening. We've got Roman Dolidze at plus 280, and he has taken on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, a minus 355. Again, another fight where I'm seeing a lot of people picking Roman Dolidze to upset Anthony Hernandez, and I was almost in that position. I don't love these odds again, guys. I know I sound like a broken record right now. Minus 355 is kind of bananas for Fluffy Hernandez, in my opinion. While I do think very highly of him, he's a one-dimensional fighter. His striking is not that great. His power is not that great. He's not very technical on the feet at all. What he is a jiu-jitsu specialist, a grappling specialist. He's taking on Roman Dolidze, a guy who is a grappling specialist and has a lot of power. While he's not clean on the feet at all, he does have more power than Anthony Hernandez, and he's a guy that grinds, so I don't know what to make of it. But anyways, Dolidze's powerful. He's awkward. He throws from strange angles. Again, the calf slicer on Jack Hermanson. We've seen what can happen when you get on the ground with him, and it's not fun. He's not super high volume, but everything is thrown with purpose, and that purpose is generally to get you to the ground. He's taking on Fluffy Hernandez, a relentless pressure grappler with absolutely absurd cardio. Great job with the takedown, smothers people with his pace, smothers them with his positioning, drowns them in volume. The striking, again, serviceable at best. And if Anthony Hernandez does end up winning this fight, I don't know how much further up the mountain he can climb. Ultimately, I will stick with Anthony Hernandez. I was really tempted to take Roman Dolidze, but I just think that the cardio and the pace of Anthony Hernandez will eventually put out Roman Dolidze. I'm going to go round 4 TKO to ground and pound. He's not going to put him out cold or anything. I think he ends up getting the back and flattening him in the 4th and then just kind of raining these things, raining those down, and the referee's seen enough. Dolidze is just trying to cover and can't really do much. But anyways, that was quick picks, guys. That was quick picks. So again, my name is Dino Bam Bam, and this was D107 MMA. If you guys enjoyed, do us a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button, like the thing at the bottom says. You can also follow us on Instagram at D107 MMA. Again, David, the winner of our UFC 319 pair of tickets. We're excited to see you, brother. We will catch you at UFC 319 next Saturday. And then for the rest of you guys, again, I'm not promising anything with this one. We do have one extra ticket. We're probably going to sell it. I'm just full transparency, probably going to sell it, but we may end up giving it away if we don't find someone willing to pay us what we think they should pay us for that ticket. So anyways, guys, the next time you see us, we'll be at 319 filming content with Brian Battle and Tim Elliott. And I'm going to try to figure out a way to get a Dricus Duplessis or a Hamzat Chimaev interview. I'm going to be in there. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.